Hey guys, what's up? I'm Philippe. I study business administration in São Paulo, Brazil, and today I'm going to be talking about finance and more specifically amortization. Now, as you may know, amortization is the process of repayment of a loan or a debt over time in a periodical fashion. Now, I'm going to teach you how to do this using your HP-12C calculator. But more specifically, I'm going to teach you how to use the HP-12C calculator to solve a problem involving the French loan, which is a type of amortization, also known as the French loan system, or the French amortization system, or even the price schedule system of amortization. So anyways, let's get right to it.
All right, guys, let's get right to it. We have a 10-month loan of $10,000 that will be repaid at 1% fixed rate, compounded monthly. Find the seventh month of the amortization schedule. So, we have here a French loan. We have the price system. And we have to find out the seventh month of the amortization schedule, which means we have to find out what was the interest paid, what was the balance, what was the payment amount on the seventh month. All right? So it's very important for you to remember that the price system, or the French system, or this system of amortizations that we're working with, it has a fixed payment amount. It is periodic and constant. It will never change. All right? And it's the first element that we must discover. And the payment amount essentially means the sum of interest plus what was paid of the principal. All right? That is the payment amount. So let's start with first things first. First, you erase the calculator's memory, all right? Because there might be something stored in it. There might be some calculations that you did earlier that could interfere with your new calculation. So FREG does that. It cleans the memory. Next step is to insert the data provided, which is 10 as n. N represents the number of times that this loan is paid, right? It is going to be repaid completely in a span of 10 months. Next, we register I as 1, right? Because we have an interest rate of 1%. We put it not in its percentual form, but in its numerical form. Next, we have the $10,000, which is our principal, which is our present value, which is why we type it in the PV button in the calculator. Next, we are going to ask for our question mark, which is the payment. What is the payment amount? That is the question, and that is the first step to solving this problem. We just basically click PMT, and it will return the value of $1,056, roughly. You're probably going to get a different number. I just rounded it. That's why it could be a bit different on your calculator. But don't worry, we're just rounding it. Later, I'll show you the real answer, the precise answer, but it's just rounding, okay? So, next. Now that we've found the payment amount, we must find the payment of the principal on the seventh month, all right? The payment amount, what we just did earlier, it is constant. So it's the same for the 8th month and the same for the 7th month and the 1st month and so on, all right? So that problem is settled. Now we're going to go and we're going to try and find the payment of the principal on the 7th month. So how to do that? First things first, all right? You are always going to calculate the month before, because you see the calculator it will give you the accumulated value of interest and the accumulated value of the payment of the principal. So you're never going to get the answer just of the month you want. So that's why we're going to have to do what we're going to do. You see, if you press 6F amort, right, and then change X for Y, you get $5,880, right? What is this? This is the accumulated amount of the payment of the principal until the 6th month, right? So that's not what we want. We want the payment of the principal on the 7th month. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's calculate then the payment accumulated on the 7th month, right? So we do the same process, 7F amort. Oh, and just a note, you always have to do the first step again, which is to find the payment amount, which is always constant and was 10,000, which was 1,055, right? And that's always the first step. So you can't just skip that step. You can't just keep going. You got to clean the memory. You got to do it again and start over, and it will work just fine. Okay. So you just did that again. You got 7F amort, and now you changed X for Y, and you got $6,894, which is the accumulated amount of payment of principal until the 7th month. But that's still not what we want. We want the payment of principal on the 7th month. So what do? We do a little algebra. We simply subtract and find the difference between the accumulated on the 7th month and on the 6th month, which must result in what was the payment of principal on the 7th month, right? So there we go. We got $1,014. We got two variables now, right? So what else do we need? Well, we need to find out what was the interest that was paid on the 7th month. Now, there's a very easy way to do this. Since we already know the payment of principal and we already know the payment amount, right? The payment amount is always the sum of the payment of principal plus interest, and the payment of principal is how much you paid of the original loan, not counting the expenses with interest. So if we want to know the value of interest, what we simply must do is, again, a little bit more of algebra. We use the answers that we had, which were 1,014 for payment of principal and 1,056 for payment amount, and we subtract these values from one another, and we come to the answer of $42. That is the interest that was paid on the 7th month. So now all that's left is to find out the payment amount, right? No, I'm sorry. We already found out the payment amount. We've got to find out the balance, right? Which is how much do we still owe after the 7th month. And how do you do that? Well, you repeat step 1, all right? Clean the memory, clean your calculator's memory, FREG. Then you again store these values in these respective key values in the calculator, and you get the PMT, which is the payment, and then you do this 7F amort, right? 7F amort. Why? Well, 7F amort is going to give you the accumulated value of interest, and if you change X for Y, you'll get the accumulated value of payment amount, right? Of a payment of principal, sorry. But what we need now is to know the balance. So there's a special key which can give you the answer straight away. All you got to do is click recall, which is denoted by the key RCL, and PV, which means present value. So recall present value or recall principal. So by doing so, you get the value of the balance on the 7th month directly. So now that that's done, let's compare our answers with the Excel table, which calculates it perfectly and instantaneously. But the point was to understand how this works with the HP-12C. So you can see that our answers are very, very similar, right? They are very precise. So good job, everyone.
Hey guys, if this video helped you in any way, please comment, like, subscribe, anything positive to help the channel get going, okay? We're going to bring lots of new stuff, so don't miss it. See ya.